Hello, you're welcome to Locks and Chronicles, and I am Opsi. It's really lovely to have you here. Thank you for stopping. And on this channel, I talk social work. I take you through my chronicles as a migrant in the UK, originally from Nigeria, and I just showcase my locks. I don't do so much with them, but I love them so much. Okay, so this is Locks and Chronicles, and you're super welcome. Today's video, it's another social work related video, and I just want to kind of touch up on what to expect if you're thinking of going on the practice education course. This is practice education for social workers course. If you want to become a practice educator, we normally call PE. If you want to go on the PE course, just to touch up on some of the things that um, are worth you considering or worth you knowing. So first of all, I think you need to have been practicing for at least 2 years as a social worker, as a registered social worker in England. Another thing is it's usually sponsored by your employer. I don't know if you can actually sponsor yourself. That might be a possibility, but usually your employer will sponsor you. And if you're with the NHS, because the pathway for social workers is not as clear, direct, and straightforward as with the local authorities, then you might need to ask your manager about it or ask the question. If you have a social work academy, which I'm not sure that most trusts have, or if you have a social work lead, so you might need to be asking the question if it's not quite clear or straightforward. So yeah, 2 years in social work funding. I don't think it's a lot of money, but I think it's maybe a couple of thousands. I think my cost would be maybe 2,000 something a year. I'm not exactly sure, but I think that's what it is. And what happens in my own case is the university actually does pay your employer money to have the student on placement daily. So for every day that the student is on placement, that you are teaching or supervising this student, the university pays your employer. So the money does kind of cancel the bit about the payments out a bit, just in case you're having a bit of difficulty with funding. That's something that you might find out and bring up. I'm not sure if this is the case in all situations, but I think for me this is the case. So it might be that you might need to have that conversation with your employer to check with the university where you want to do it. If the funding is a problem, then it sort of cancels it out when the uni pays for the student being on placement. So the uni doesn't actually pay me for the student being on placement. I don't get anything extra, but the university does pay my employer for the student being there, and my employer pays for my funding. So you understand the give and take. Yeah, the give and take cycle. That's how it runs in my case. Another thing is, in my case, there is no reduction of caseload. The university made it clear that they will not expect any reduction in my caseload, so I still have my normal caseload. If your manager decides to give you a reduction of caseload, then that's fine. That's lucky you. But the university made it clear that there will be no reduction of caseload. As a matter of fact, what they said is because you have the student and you should be able to delegate some of your tasks to your student, again, that cancels it out. So not minding the fact that when you have a student, it takes a lot and it takes its toll on you, because the student does not necessarily know your systems, does not have training in the systems that you use and things like that, and you will spend like the first 4 to 6 weeks of that placement trying to give the student a proper induction. Another thing for you to notice that you will be given, well, in my case, again, let's just make it mine so that these are things that you can consider and you can ask about if it's not being clear to you. So in my case, I do have 4 study days in the whole of the year, of the whole of the academic year. I can't speak. So the whole of the academic year, I do have 4 study days, which will be usually I try to take them towards the time when I have my big coursework, so that I can have time to focus on them, because there's a lot to do about the student's portfolio, but also as you're studying the course and you also have the student, you are also doing a lot of assignments, coursework, uni days, and extra studying and research. So just bear that in mind. So you're going to be doing all of those uh, within your normal working hours. It's not going to be enough, so you're going to have to do some extra studying by yourself as well for you to be able to meet up. So just be prepared to have some of your weekends and your days off and your evenings to devote to this PE course. Otherwise, you're not going to have enough time to do the things that you need to do. Another thing you need to bear in mind is that when you have your students, you will be giving them regular supervision. And in my case, I give supervision every week, 1.5 hours of supervision every week, in addition to any extra support that the student might need. This you need to put on your calendar, and you need to set on your schedule to make sure that this is prioritized for the student. And you will find out that it's not just the student that is this is beneficial for. It will also be beneficial for your own development and your learning as a teacher or someone educating another person or supervising another person. So 1.5 hours every week of your time will go to supervision, in addition to whatever extra support that you might have to give to the student. And in addition to that, that will happen up until midway point. So up until about 50 days or 50 something days. And then from then on, it will be an hour or an hour and a half every 2 weekly. But according to your students' needs is what you will need to be able to give to the student. So you will need to pass your coursework. If you don't pass your coursework, then you can't pass the course, you will fail. And there are some specific things that you will need to pass. I'll talk about them in a minute. So yeah, because I was waiting for the OINs at the swimming, so they were coming into the car, so I had to pause. So just to round up, some of the assessments that you would have as a practice educator is you will have a direct observation in the first year, a direct observation in the second year, and this will assess how you supervise your student. So you will have your supervisor coming in to observe you doing this, but you will also be giving 3 direct observations to your student if they are a final year student through the placement. So other parts of the assessments that I have had, so you will have to submit some of your supervision notes to your supervisor and to the uni for them to look at how you actually take supervision notes and what happens in your supervision time. So it's a lot, and they will give you feedback on that. Another thing that you will be assessed on is you will have to do some research, like a critical reflection of your journey as a practice educator trainee. I think that's what we did in the first year. I have a feeling that this second year we will be doing something critically reflecting about difficult situations that you've had on the placement and how you've managed those situations. I think that's what we'll be writing on, and you'll be expected to use a lot of research, a lot of papers, articles, books, and all of that too. And also to evidence that what you're doing is within the PEPS 1 and the PEPS 2. By the time you finish the course, and those are the practice education standards that you'll be expected to meet and to fulfill. And for the student, you'll be expected to be able to evidence that they are meeting the PCFs, the professional capability framework, I believe it's called. Yes, you'll be expected to be able to evidence that they've passed all the PCFs, and you'll be able to show and give examples of how they've done this. And you will be expected to contribute all of that to their portfolio. So just to let you know, I'm on the year 2, so I'm not yet a practice educator. I'm a practice educator trainee. So I've done the first year. It was difficult, I'm not going to lie. This is the second year, and a lot is still going on, but this is just quick snapshot of what has been happening, and what you need to expect, if you're going for the practice educator course. I hope you found this helpful. I'm just turning the camera because Another child of mine is coming into the car that does not want to be on camera. So if you found this helpful, let me know. If you have anything else that you want me to talk about, let me know. As I am still in this journey, I will be sharing more with you about it. But as I said, this is just a quick one to give you an introduction into what you might expect if you're doing the course. Okay, let me know if it's helpful. Leave a comment, share, like, subscribe, and follow me on Instagram, Locks and Chronicles. DM me if you have anything private that you want to discuss. But first of all, leave a comment on this video so that YouTube will know that this video is relevant. Okay, till I come your way next time, always remember that I really do love you. Bye.